Welcome to She Sells Radio. So, I've got a very special episode for you today. And this is going to be a little bit of a longer intro because I'm actually going to let you listen in on part of the coaching session that I did recently with one of my own coaches. And I wasn't planning on it becoming a podcast episode, but it actually dawned on me about halfway through that it was the perfect thing to share with you. And so, I want to give you a little bit of context for how it came about. So, if you listened to episode 114, which was about some big life changes that have been going on in my life, I shared that I had recently hired a new mentor, this beautiful woman, actually former anesthesiologist, and she's a shaman now, Dr. Marie Mbouni. And I'm going to share with you a little bit of who she is and then how we've been working together. And then I'll let you listen in on the episode. But Marie works as a shaman and a coach for some really, really well-known entrepreneurs, Silicon Valley leaders. Like, she doesn't share their names publicly, so I'm not going to do that either here, but just like, the people she works for and works with. Really, really amazing at what she does. But she grew up in Africa and always felt called to be a healer, and ended up going into traditional Western medical school and became an anesthesiologist. And I bet maybe you can relate to this, or someone who can. She created a career as a doctor that a lot of people would have said was a dream career. But she shares publicly, as part of her story now, she felt so burnt out, so overworked, and finally just got to a point where she decided to leave all of that behind to create a different life and pursue her healing work full time as a shaman and a consciousness coach. And I met her several years back. It was actually, I haven't been working with her as a client for more than a few months at this point. I met her a couple years back though. And I met her soon after she had left her career as an anesthesiologist, and wanted to go full time into her work as a shaman. And she had reached out to a company that I'm still a part of to this day, but a company I had been a founding team member of called Brand Builders Group, to get help building her personal brand. And she became one of my favorite clients, one of my favorite personal branding clients. And our calls were just so unique because we just had this energy and this synchronicity, and we would kind of just both channel what the answers were for her brand, what the inspiration was. And I loved working with her. And when we finished up the branding work, we kind of just loosely stayed in touch for a few years after that. And then we really just reconnected strongly a couple months ago. And the way we reconnected, and this is a story that's just going to give you an example of, how powerful this type of work can be. But if you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, by the way, if you haven't, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. But if you have, then you probably know in 2020, I had 3 different diagnoses of skin cancer. And the first time I panicked and I didn't really look into my options very much. And I got surgery, and it left a pretty intense scar on my face. And looking back, looking back with the information I have now, I probably would have done it differently. And this is no disrespect or no, like, you've got to handle it this way if you have a cancer thing going on or a health thing going on. Because it's such a personal thing. And everyone's journey is personal, and it's about doing whatever feels right for you. For me, looking back, I probably would have done it differently now that I've had some different experiences with it. But anyway, first one, got surgery. And then after that, I decided it was a kind of traumatic experience. And I decided I wanted to look for other ways of treatment. And I started really digging into energy work and nutrition and some of the more holistic modalities. And after my second diagnosis, after me just focusing on those things for a while, the spot cleared up and went away to where doctors couldn't find it anymore. And then there was a third spot. I got diagnosed shortly after that. And with that one, I kind of decided to do the same. I said, I'm going to give myself several months and see what I can do on my own. And, if I get to a point where I feel guided to get surgery and I feel like that's the right move, I'll do that. But it was my desire to approach it a different way. And a couple months back, it had pretty much gotten to the point where it had fully faded. And then one day I looked at it in the mirror, and I'd been going through some kind of tough emotional stuff at the time, and it was like red. It was really, really visible. And so I did what any normal person would do in that moment, and I called a shaman. Which if you know me, if you've been listening to this for a while, again, like this, you're probably laughing. You're like, of course you did, Elyse. But I remember I just went into prayer at that point because I said, okay, I know that things are happening for me. What am I being asked to do? And I just felt very strongly guided to reach out to Marie. I'd been thinking about working with her and hiring her for a while. And, but I hadn't pulled the trigger. It just hadn't felt quite right yet. And in that moment, it was like, you need to call her and work with her because there's still things that you need to clean up, healing wise, emotionally, all of it. And this isn't the full point of the story, but interestingly, about a week or so after that, the spot was indetectable again. And so this is probably another podcast for another day, but my skin has become a bit of like my guide, my oracle in an interesting way. But Marie did share with me later after that first call, she had done some energy healing work on me as well. So she's an amazing, amazing, powerful woman. And the work that we've been doing, a lot of the work we've been doing in these few months we've been working together has been on personal power. And it's something that when I first started working with her on this, I hadn't realized it at first, but I started seeing how much power I was still giving away to various people, to various circumstances in my life. And there's so many ways that I do it sometimes, and that you might find that you do it too, whether it's like waiting for approval from other people to move forward on projects, or having something you really want in your life, but it doesn't seem like it's coming around. So you do a spiritual bypass and you say, oh, it wasn't meant to happen, or settling for less than what you want financially. Or, listening to like you're moved, you're guided intuitively to do something, but it contradicts those beliefs that are floating around in your head, your limiting beliefs. And so you don't do it, you don't move forward on it. And so there's so many ways that we give away our power. And that's part of what I'm so passionate about we share in this episode is we actually do a deep dive into power and personal power and what it is. And Marie sheds such a new, different perspective on it. She actually talks about imposter syndrome too, and what that is. And every time I talk with her, I get so many ahas and so many light bulb moments. And she's actually going to be, I'm so excited. This is the first time I'm announcing it publicly. She's going to be our guest speaker at our Sedona retreat coming up in December. So if you're listening to this in real time, get registered for Sedona, ElyseArcher.com/Sedona, December 8th through 10th. It's going to be 2 days of really high level VIP coaching, mentoring on mindset, sales, and business. And Marie's going to be there. She's going to take you through a very experiential experience to help you reclaim your power and your desires, whether it's the money you're looking to create in your life, the lifestyle, the impact it's all about learning to trust yourself in your desires, even if you think bigger and differently than most of the people around you, which I know most of the women in the She Sells community do. So again, ElyseArcher.com/Sedona, get registered. At the time of this recording, we're about 50% full on the room block. So get yourself registered now if it's something you want to do. We've also got early bird pricing going on through October 15th, where you can save $1,000 on your ticket. But it's going to be a beautiful experience, and you're going to get to spend time with Marie as well. And so as I was doing this coaching session with her this week, it hit me in the middle of it. Oh my gosh. I've been wanting to have her on the podcast, and we've been, working on coordinating times, and it hadn't lined up well. And I thought, this is our podcast episode. So you're going to hear me kind of just dive right into this coaching session I was having with her. But you're going to get so many shifts and so many ahas out of listening to this about reclaiming your power, what personal power is, how to deepen into it, how to start trusting yourself and your intuition, and how to really up level that part of your life. So, all right, my friend, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And I think you'll really enjoy this conversation, this private coaching session that became public with my mentor, my coach, the beautiful, beautiful, and really, really amazing Dr. Marie Mbouni.
this framework, which is it's a spectrum. It's not a finite point where it's like when I reach this point, poof, I have power, right? It's a constantly evolving, changing, growing, moving concept.
Mm.
And it's only your awareness of where you are that tells you, I'm in my power, I'm not in my power.
Mm.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Like when you're making a choice, is it from your power? Is it being influenced by what's going on in your life? Is it being influenced by other people? The next thing I want to bring in is that the idea of right or wrong power, right? So sometimes people say things like, which is true, to really make sure that your choices are not coming from lack or limitations, you have to define what that means for you. And I'm going to give you a concrete example. You're an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and maybe your receivables are not, you're like, oh, I need cash. So I'm going to create this program to make quick cash. So if you are like, oh my gosh, I'm such a loser, and how did this happen? How can I do this? I'm so bad, I can't do, all these ideas and fear, like, oh, I'm doomed, and I'm gonna be dead. Oh, I need to do something. That's lack, fear, doubt. But if it's like, I'm a businesswoman and I need to bring in cash, and what's the best way to do that? It comes from the fact that you don't have cash, but you are still in your power.
Yes.
And the other situation where it's like, oh, I'm a loser, whatever. It's the same situation. I don't have cash, but you're not in your power.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
So as you navigate this theme of power, you start to realize that it's an alive concept. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Awareness. The second thing that is crucial for power is presence. Full presence. Physical, energetic, spiritual presence, right? So if you are not present, you are not in your full power. I mean, I don't even have to explain that one.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why we started with presence today. So since you brought in the idea of creatorship, that for you, power is the ability to have an inspiration and bring it manifest. When you think about creation, it flows through you, it comes from you. And if you are not in your presence, where is it coming from? Another person, another idea, copying, comparison, judgment? Where is it coming from?
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about this in different ways than I've ever thought about it. Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it this way instead of a dyadic. Power is, your solar plexus, blah, blah, blah. That's good.
Yeah.
But that's limited. So the center, the energetic center of power is located at the solar plexus, for sure. And it's a center. And that center is influenced by other things. And when you look at personal power and the center, it usually has a lot of wounds, especially from childhood. That's just the way humans raise their kids. When you start to exert your power, even of choice, usually it's suppressed, oppressed, shut down. Your fire is put down. The terrible twos. Oh, I want to wear a pink dress. No, you need to wear this yellow, whatever.
Yeah.
Because mommy said so, daddy said so. And what happens is gradually you start to lose that, because the way that it is trained is not conducive to children staying in their power.
Yeah.
Like you can make your child wear that yellow dress by addressing it in a different way. But usually it's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
How would you, this is just coming up, obviously, because I'm thinking about Jack, and I think it's such an important conversation, and I'm very cognizant of that with him, but I'd love to deepen that. How would you help him be in his power?
Giving him the power of choice.
Okay.
Like making him feel that he has the power to choose.
Okay.
So for example, the yellow and red, and he says, I want to wear pink or red.
Yeah.
You might ask him, why do you want to do that? First, hear him. He has his reason. My best friend has the same shirt.
Yeah.
And today we said we're going to wear red. Then you might be like, okay, you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to be the kid who's like, oh, we were supposed to wear red and my mom said, well, yeah. I mean, like, that's like, you can see how. But if it's just like, oh, because I want to, and then you might say, it's going to rain today. And if you wear red, it's really not going to look pretty. Of course, I'm making it up.
Yeah.
So I think that it might be better to, wear this yellow, because then you're going to be like the sun. And the sun will, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Then he might be like, wow, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm going to wear yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So although you made him wear yellow, he understood why the yellow. And then he chose to listen to you.
Yes. Okay. This makes so he had more ownership over the choice.
And power of choice. Like he didn't lose his power.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I took us down a side path by asking about Jack, because
it's not a side path right because now. It's the same with everyone, right? I think it was either Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, I don't remember which one, who said that, the power of a good CEO is really to inspire people, to do their best, to embrace your movement, and you do that by giving them their power. So as a CEO, even when you have new ideas or you want people to do something, there's a way that you make them embrace the movement of your company. So that they then have ownership. So they're not working for you, they're working because they believe in it, they're passionate about it, it's a totally different paradigm.
Yeah. Yes. Which is very much where I'm at right now with our company too. So yeah. That's very present for me right now.
Continuing with this power. So what happened, sometimes we also choose to give our power away. It is not bad as long as you are aware that it is the choice that you're making. then it doesn't become a wound.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? Especially when you love someone. Sometimes you choose to not exert power, I don't know, to make them feel good, to make them feel whatever, right?
Yeah.
You might be like, okay. And when you know that you're doing that, you are in your power. But if you're not aware, then it's codependency.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's so much of what's showing up for me right now. And what I think is also, like, I just see with the women in our community, something they're coming up against too, is like, if you were codependent for so long, and if you did give away your power, which I did in a lot of ways, starting to make that shift back into ownership of it, right? And healing those wounds. And how do we start to do that? How do I start to do that?
So the first thing is, and I always call it awareness, noticing, observing, because when you become aware, that's when you make the choice to shift, not change, but shift. And that happens without trauma. Because most people, when they've done something, it's like, oh my gosh, look at you, you gave your power away. They start feeling guilty, shame, and then it just like keeps going on. Even if they reclaim their power, it's from a fighting, force, push standpoint instead of reclaim.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's usually the first step. And then diving into what was the reason I gave my power away? What was the drive? When I talked about love, it's like, then it becomes, what is my definition of love?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's like you have to earn it, or you have to sacrifice, be victim, because that's what they learn, right? My mom never said a word. My father beat her up, or, women were not supposed to, whatever, right? It's the imprints.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's because I saw it with my mom. Actually, I have a client who's a man, and he has a husband, and he was totally like giving his power away, and he wasn't aware, and I was able to show it to him. And then we did a deep dive on a journey, and he was like, wow, this comes from my mom. He's from Iran.
Wow.
He was like, whoa, I didn't even realize that. And we do it because we didn't, he knew that his mom was suffering.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, and he couldn't do anything about it. And so this is the way that we make up for what we think was bad. It's by doing the same thing and thinking, well, this is how it is.
Wow. Yeah. Which I know I totally did, and I've done in many areas of my life. And I think it's just something I don't want to say this. I think I did it for so long, and I was unaware of it, specifically usually with men, because I wanted attention,
whatever,
love, affection, whatever. But as I've learned more about my mom and her background, I know a lot of places, where that happened for her too. And so it's like,
and you saw that because children really have their intuition. They know everything that's happening.
Yeah.
They know. And it's painful.
Yeah, for sure.
They might not even know that it is painful at the, we talk about the energetics of power. We talked about presence, we talked about choice, we talked about creatorship. And the energetics, this is where the solar plexus is. The guides that influence that center. Archangel Uriel is the one in charge of the solar plexus. And there are a lot of codes that can be reawakened here, and a lot of codes that can be healed. Programs, not codes, programs. Slavery program, victim program. Slavery is not just, selling slave in the United States, but like, if your great-grandparents were working for another person, and they depend, like they had a master, or, things like it's still, that's why a lot of people, when they see or they feel imposter syndrome, it's like, who am I? How can I do this? Because they have to be below someone.
Interesting. That's something. So I want to, okay. This is so good. So 2 questions come from that. So I surveyed the women in the She Sells community recently, and one of the biggest topics that came up that they were wanting more help around was imposter syndrome. And I may have had more of it than I'm aware of, probably a little bit, but it seems like it's something that's big for a lot of the women. And I've been wondering, as you talk about epigenetics, right? And a lot of the stuff is like from past generations. Is that, I think I know the answer as I'm asking this question, but that also stems from past generations for these women. And that's where some of it comes from.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And not only that, your life experiences, your beliefs about yourself, like, and your belief about yourself is a big part of power, that was the first question I asked you. What's power for you? What do you believe about yourself? Do you approve of yourself? Do you, and if, the self-talk that you have, if it's negative and it doesn't match the frequency of your outside world, there's a mismatch. Hence imposter. So if you think, you're a loser, you're not enough, and, whatever, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, you're still thinking, like, how did I even get here? I'm going to be found out, or.
Yeah, totally. Which I know is happening for a lot of the women, or like they've manifested a great outward result, and they're like, wait, are you sure? Like, is this okay? And so it comes from the self-talk, the self-conception, that they're not actually a match for that. So then the other question, kind of the part 2 of that showed up for me when you were talking about it, is how do we reclaim that power in a way that is that's not, like you talked about, for like forceful, and I'll share a little bit of context. I've got some members in the community who are like, we want to smash the patriarchy and yada yada, and I'm even reading right now, that's never really been like my energy towards it, but right now I'm reading a book called Patriarchy Stress Disorder. I don't know if you've read it, but it's like, I was reading it this morning and I found myself getting mad. It was just talking about different things that have happened over history with women, and I found myself getting mad, and I was like, oh, it'd be easy to lean into like anger.
So that's where I talk about maintaining your vibration. Like, no matter what you're reading, it's information, right? And even if it's true, it's like, okay, where do I want this to influence me? Do I want to do something about it? Am I the change that I want to see? It's not about going and killing somebody or smashing them or whatever. It's like, how are you being? How are you different from the patriarchy? Actually, as a woman.
Because we can kind of, because you can repeat it without even
are we
being
not
conscious of it.
Like, how are you treating the other women? Don't you judge them, belittle them, gossip?
Wow.
How are you different? Boom.
Yeah.
Of course, it's sensational. And of course, those things happen. However, my message is that we are done with separation.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about collaboration, co-elevation, unification. Yes, they did bad. We did bad. Okay, so how do we move forward? How do we heal this?
Yeah.
It's not about smashing them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but then it's just war. Like, how are you different?
It's the same. Totally.
And if we're at war with the patriarchy, we think it's outside, it's the men, but everybody has masculine and feminine.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you treating your own masculine? How can you manifest if you don't have your masculine power?
Wow.
Kairos and Chronos.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is this is powerful. Oh, I told my team this morning, I was like, we're going to play a drinking game where every time I say power over the next 90 days, we're going to drink. That's the theme. But yeah, this is resonating. So the presence, what I'm hearing you say is, it's like being at choice of, do I want to be swayed and influenced by this or not? And being at choice to maintain your own energy and not let it be pulled or sucked away by what you're reading or by things that are going on, because then you can't help yourself and you can't help anybody.
And this is the only way you are, people say I'm a leader. When you lead, you have a direction, you have a path, you have a message, you have a choice, you have a movement, you have but if you like, oh, look at that, smash this, oh, this person, oh, I had this podcast and the guy said, okay, that's what it's like, who are you? You can choose to embrace other people's ideas. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like, where are you coming from?
Yeah.
Are you in your center? Who are you?
Wow.
That's your power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I go somewhere, I know who I am. People feel it.
I had something happen this weekend where I feel like I gave my power away, and I'm curious. No doubt, I decided it was a master teaching moment. So maybe you have some perspective on this.
Yeah.
But I went shopping, and I went shopping for some clothes for a photo shoot I'm doing tomorrow. And I was in Nordstrom, and the sales associate was like so nice to me and so just helpful and sugar sweet, yada, yada. And then she asked me as she was putting the clothes up in the room, like, oh, what are you shopping for? Are you going on a trip? And I said, no, I'm actually buying for a photo shoot. And instantly her energy shifted and she shut down, and it was a very judgmental energy coming from her. And she said, oh, well, maybe you could find some pieces for your wardrobe as well. But it was like a very nasty tone. And I realized in that moment, she thought I was just buying stuff to return it after the shoot. But it was like, I took so much of that energy from her in that moment. And I was just sad the rest of the day because I felt so judged. And I thought, gosh, I didn't think I could be swayed so much by somebody else's projection on me of who they think I am.
Yeah, the amplitude of her judgment was bigger than knowing who you are.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So that's how it happened. And then the rest of the day is shut down. Everything you do during the day has her energy, and that brings doubt. That brings what did I do wrong? And oh my gosh, it happened again. Nobody likes me. And that, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, it was because I didn't think that I could be swayed so much by somebody's, but it felt so strong in the moment. And then
it can feel like an attack, like it's a punch on your solar plexus. If you even think about it, you probably felt it here, like
even as I say it now, it's like what, like here I am, I'm bringing it up again like 2 days later. So clearly it had, it had an impact.
It does. It
did. Yeah. But I want to be less available for that. So I guess that comes to continuing to up my own amplitude and
your presence, because, of course, this person who brought it up for you and brought the mirror also had, like, she has a wound.
Yeah.
If not, she wouldn't become unprofessional to attack you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you are in your power and your frequency, you can actually help her heal just by actually stopping and just looking at her and smiling and making her notice that, oh, shoot, I was just totally nasty right now.
Yeah.
Without even saying anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when she notices, then it's like, whoa, why did I even do that? And that would also start her healing. I have this saying, which is that my healing is your healing. Your healing is my healing. Our healing is all healing. Because that's why you hear hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you in your integrity and sovereignty, like, you don't need to hurt anyone. Like,
no. Yeah. Yeah. It was a powerful moment. And I was the day afterwards, I was like, okay, the first day I felt very judged and it really got me for some reason. But the next day I was like, okay, I'm calling her my master teacher for right now. She's my master teacher of something, but I get to heal or shift.
Yeah, that's what it was. She was a mirror for you. There's still shaky parts. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I pulled a card recently that was like, you're going to be coming in contact with a lot of people who you've made soul contracts with to deepen into love. Like basically, like you're going to have interactions that help deepen into love, and just know you're going to be having a lot more interactions with people like that. I thought maybe that's.
And so when they say deepen into love, it's actually compassion. So when I gave you the example of how to deal with her, what did I say? Looking at her with a smile, right? I didn't say educate her. I didn't say, argue or defend or protect. It was just like beautiful smile of love. Like, yeah, I get you, honey.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's what it is. When you hear the spiritual deepen into love, it means that you're going to be like punched and then you're going to have to be like compassion.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, the spiritual is kind of funny and tricky.
No kidding.
My ex-boyfriend, when we met, it was just like, thunder, earthquake. Like we were at a conference and we hugged and we couldn't stop hugging for 10 minutes, maybe. Wow. I don't know, 5. I don't know how long it was. I didn't know him, didn't know his name, but it's like we literally couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And then I immediately asked my guides, like, what is going on? And they said, it's a gift.
Oh my God.
And I was happy, and I should have known. a gift in the spiritual world means you're gonna grow.
Damn it.
Oh, yeah.
It was a gift.
So when they say deepen into love,
just know, brace yourself. You're getting more master teachers along the way. I know. I pulled that card. I was like, I feel like this is a cleverly disguised, like, oh, get ready.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Great.
But you know, I had kind of forgotten, but yeah, I grew so much. Like that's the biggest expansion of my heart chakra. Like with everything that happened, it became like no limits. Like I can't, when I energetic, it just goes. It just goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Gifts, spiritual gifts.
Yeah. Which cards were those?
They are, I'm doing the something a former coach of mine gave me, the Journey of Love. Do you know these? I don't know if you have seen these. They're quite beautiful, actually.
No.
If you have any other decks you love, I'm totally open. It's Alana Fairchild.
Alana Fairchild?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love Alana.
Really? Okay.
She's really good. She has what I love is that she always has like a healing or meditation. I mean, I don't know how those cards are, but oh, I think I used to have them. Do they have like beautiful paintings?
Yeah.
Okay, by Rasuli.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Oh
I used to have them.
That's awesome. Yeah. They're fun.
No, I love her. They're great.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. I don't know where that, I've had so many decks. It's just like
I like that they're
I remember that one because I love Rasuli and I would so do you know how to use a pendulum?
Probably not the way you would tell me to use it.
No, it's a yes or no.
No, I don't think so. I have one I got for I'm getting certified in hypnosis, but I haven't really gotten into it yet. So yeah. No.
Oh, that's more of a hypnosis type of
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you use a pendulum?
So this is like an intuition, really honing, working with your intuition. Maybe this is something that, since you're saying that your retreat is a little spiritual and it could be a fun activity for your people, like giving them a pendulum as a gift. They could be like $3 or $10, on Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
We totally have a session to, like it would be fun and a way to like, ooh.
I love it. They would be so into it. Really know. Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Yeah. See, I'm sure they're gonna have a gift, right? Like most retreats, they get a little, so they could have a beautiful pen. I'm gonna check on Amazon and kind of show you like the ones that feel good.
Awesome. Yeah. That would be great. Thank you. That would be great.
And so Pendulum Fun Shop.
Pendulum Fun Shop. Is that a shop?
No, not workshop, but fun shop.
Oh, the Pendulum Fun Shop. I thought you meant it was a shop on Amazon. I get it now.
No.
I get it now. I didn't know that was a thing. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one other quick idea I had while we were talking, and we can totally do something else. But
Yeah.
my thought with the interview on the podcast was I wanted to use it to also like plug you for the retreat and just kind of tease some of what we're going to be talking about, and I feel like we had such a powerful conversation today. Are you open to, if I just edit parts of this out and use this?
Yeah.
Oh, done. We just did the
This
interview.
is our podcast.
This is our podcast. Okay. Thank you. I was like, oh, this works. This actually works perfectly. So
it felt that way. It was just like, okay, we're doing something else here.
I know. Well, I got the idea about halfway through, and then I was like trying to not go too much into like podcaster mode and stay focused, but I think it works. I got amazing coaching out of it. And I think it'll actually be, I'll just edit some parts out and like, just make it the episode.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yay. That worked great. Thank you.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you so much.
So just take a deep inhale. Exhale. We're going to do it one more time. And at the end, exhalation, I want you to hold your breath, but not with power or force, just like you let the breath end. And feel the emptiness. It's only when you empty yourself that you can also refill yourself. If not, you just recirculating what's been there. So inhale through the nose, deep breath. Exhale through the mouth, all the way until all the air is out. Just gently hold it until you feel called to breathe. Feeling your presence, groundedness, emptying yourself so that all that is beneficial for you may come in through your channel. Bringing in beautiful golden energy through your crown, all around your body. To the solar plexus, transmuting the incident at Nordstrom, releasing all the tendrils of energy that came from this person who also is in her wounding, forgiving that incident. Cleansing your solar plexus. Releasing that contraction, that knot. Letting go, letting go. Inhale through the nose. Exhale everything out. Beautiful. Okay.
Thank you. Really
beautiful.
Thank you.